Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. So we are still in the 100s, but I think we're on video like 195. So this week coming up, we're going to make it past the 200 video mark. Yes, 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 yes. We are on track to end this in December. We are doing good. We are rolling ahead. And I've decided if someone actually hires me to work for them, what I'll do is make OJ premieres. So I will pre-record them and then they'll still come out every day. This time, chat will be open. You'll be able to get into chat and talk with everybody. I will be able to get into chat too and talk from work, which I will, but it won't be live like it is now. But that's only if someone hires me for a day shift job. So we'll see what happens this week. I feel like something's going to happen this week. All right, OJ. Oh my gosh, it's Dennis Fung. I had no idea.
Where you're claiming to have seen red stains on the morning of June 14th.
To rephrase the question, please.
Could you show us the area in this photograph where you saw red stains on the morning of June 14th?
I have to make several assumptions in doing so in the photograph.
Well, does this photograph depict the area?
It does, but it does not show sufficient detail for me to point out specific areas.
Well, can you just direct the pointer to the area as best you can?
As best I can, making some assumptions.
At this point, there's no foundation for the witness's testimony.
Oh, well, he said it depicts the area.
Speculation.
Go ahead.
Up higher. Okay, slowly to the right. Down lower, slowly to the right. A little higher in that area there.
Okay. Can you direct it in a circle? How far did they extend?
No, that's not the area I indicated.
Okay. Let's try again.
Right? Okay, a little lower there. Nope, a little higher. Okay, and now just maybe a little bit more to your left. A little bit more to the right. Okay, now you're covering it. That's just about the area.
Okay. Can we print that and make that appendix next in order?
1098. 1098, Mrs. Robertson? 1098, next in order defense. Thank you.
Now, did you report to anyone seeing a red stain on the exterior door of the Bronco on the morning of June 14th?
No,
Did you make any notation of it?
no,
You went back to the Bronco for a visit on June 28th.
yes,
Did you see the red stain on June 28th?
I didn't look for it.
You went with another criminalist. Mr. Morakovo, am I pronouncing
Master
that correct?
Kovo?
Master Kovo. Did you point it out to him?
No, we were there for a specific collection, a directed collection.
You were there to get the shovel and the plastic bag and the towel.
That's all.
And you did a pheno test on the towel and it came out negative, right?
I don't know if we did it on that day, but at some point, the towel was tested in the field. I don't know if it was done on the 14th or the 28th. I'll have
Now-
to check my notes. That was, the towel was tested on the 14th of June.
On July 6th, you took another trip to the Bronco at the request of Ms. Clark.
Yes,
And you did this just before you testified at the preliminary hearing.
yes,
And that was after Detective Furman had testified at the preliminary hearing.
yes,
And you were informed by Ms. Clark that Detective Furman had testified to seeing 4 red stains on the exterior of the door sill.
she didn't name Detective Furman by name, but she did say detectives had seen them and she would like me to do a presumptive test on those areas.
And did she tell you on the morning of July 6th that one detective had testified to seeing it, these red stains, and 2 other detectives had testified at the preliminary hearing that they hadn't seen it?
No,
She didn't indicate anything to you about a conflict in testimony.
she just requested me to look specifically at that area and do a presumptive test on it.
Now, this trip that you made to the Bronco on July 6th, you first revealed this in testimony at a hearing in October of 1994.
Yes,
And that was when you were called by the defense to testify.
I don't recall who called me, but I did testify.
Do you recall on direct examination in October being asked questions by Dean Ullman?
Yes, I do.
You know who he is.
Yes,
And he asked you questions about the number of times you had taken trips and inspected the Bronco.
yes,
And when he first asked you about this trip to the Bronco on July 6th, you told him, I went to the Bronco and looked to see if it was there, referring to the red stains. That's all I did.
on July 6th.
Yes.
Page and line, counsel.
Yes. Is the transcript of October 6th. And I'm referring to questions that begin at 2581. And maybe to make it easier, I'll start on line 1 of 2581.
All right,
And I'll
we should
read.
let Mr. Goldberg catch up.
This is the hearing on October 6th. If you want. Here's a copy.
Your Honor, we'll ask that Mr. Scheck read from the official transcript because there's no vouching for the accuracy of what he said.
Are you,
Hold on. Let me see counsel with the sidebar, please.
That was the most rewatched part of this whole clip. What we just watched, nothing happened. Maybe because Martha spoke? I don't know. Look, where'd that big peak come from? Okay. Okay, if that's what people want to rewatch in their spare time. Who am I?
Transcripts.
Who am I?
Here to- October
This
26th.
is October 6th. And for the sake of clarity, Your Honor, I'll begin actually at page 2580, line 23, which is the very beginning of the direct examination by Mr. Ullman. Question. All right, Mr. Fung, you participated then in 2 different searches of the Bronco automobile. Is that correct? Answer, yes. Question. 1 on June 14th at the print shed. Answer, yes. Question. And then a second one on June 28th at Vertel's. Answer, yes. Question. Did you visit the Bronco on any other occasion other than these 2 occasions when you were executing a search warrant? Answer, yes, I did. Question. When was that? Witness, let me refer to my notes. Brief pause. Answer. There was an additional time where I was asked to see if there was additional blood on the exterior of the door. And I did that the first time I testified on the same day that I testified in the preliminary hearing. I don't have that written down, though. Question. Okay, so you have no record of having made another visit to the Bronco automobile to examine it? Answer, no. Question. You did not prepare any report to that effect? Answer. I went to the Bronco, looked to see if it was there, and that was all I did. Were you asked those questions and did you give those answers?
To the best of my recollection, yes.
Now, later on in your examination at that hearing, you were asked some questions by Ms. Clark. Starting on page 2584, 2585, 2586.
Need one moment to try to get our 2 transcripts to correspond because we're reading them.
Just to pick up the theme for a second, Mr. Fung, what we just reviewed is that when you answered Mr. Ullman's questions, you told him, I went to the Bronco, looked to see if it was there, and that's all I did. You recall giving that answer?
Yes.
Then when Ms. Clark asked you questions, you were asked these questions and you gave these answers. Question. Now, on the date that you went back to the Bronco to look at it, which was the second day of your testimony, answer, I think so, yes. Question, it was during your testimony at the preliminary hearing during that time. Answer, yes. Question, how did you go get to the car? Were you just able to walk in through an open door? Answer. I went to Vertel's tow and I showed my badge or something to the attendant to let me into the garage area or the tow yard. And then I went into their print area and observed what was on the driver door. Question. So you had to show identification in order to be allowed in? Answer. Sometimes I have to show identification, but if they recognize the police car, they'll open the door for me. Question. So if they know that you're a police officer, they let you in, otherwise you have to show identification? Answer, yes. Question. And when you made that examination, you looked at the bottom of the driver's door? Answer, yes, I did. Question. What did you see? Answer. There was a dark area with the appearance of possible blood. Question. Did you test it? Answer. Yes, I did. Question. And it gave preliminary tests for the presence of blood. Oh, I'm sorry. Question. And answer. It gave preliminary tests for the presence of blood. Were you asked those questions and did you give those answers to Ms. Clark?
From the best of my recollection, yes.
So it's your testimony, or is it your testimony, that on July 6th, you went to Vertel's, the request of Ms. Clark, and you looked for blood stains on the exterior of the Bronco door?
The exterior of the Bronco door by the door sill.
Where
Yes.
you indicated, the general area you indicated in the picture we showed you.
Yes.
And is it your testimony, sir, that you saw dark spots there?
It was dark in comparison to the rest of the vehicle.
Red stains?
I don't believe it was red at the time, at that time.
Were you alone when you made this visit?
I believe I was.
Did you bring any photographer with you?
No.
Did you conduct a presumptive phenolphthalein test?
Yes, I did.
And you got a positive result?
Yes.
And at that time, you did not write any report about having performed such a test?
That's correct.
You did not take any picture of those dark spots that you claim to have seen before you tested it?
That's correct.
Now, on July 6th, you came back to testify at the preliminary hearing.
Yes.
When you came back to testify, did you report to Ms. Clark that you had seen these dark spots on the exterior of the Bronco door?
I don't know if I relayed that to her at that time or if I had relayed that information to her before.
Well, you went out to look at this the morning of your testimony.
That's correct.
And are you saying that after looking at those dark spots, testing them for the presence of blood at Ms. Clark's request, that you did not immediately return and report to her what you had seen and what you had done?
I don't recall if I did or not.
Are you saying you don't recall, sir, because you think that that's going to be of some assistance to the prosecution's case here?
Sustained.
When you perform a phenolphthalein test, withdraw it. When you performed the phenolphthalein test on the exterior of the Bronco door on July 6th, you took a swab and you put some distilled water on it,
Yes.
and then you put that swab onto the dark spot you saw and removed some of it?
A portion of it. Yes.
Sure of it.
Yes.
Now, at some point, did you report to Ms. Clark what you had done on July 6th?
I did relay to her at some point that I had done what she requested of me, yes.
Did she take any notes when you relayed this information to her?
I don't believe she did. I
Where
lectured
did
her.
this conversation take place?
It was in the DA's office someplace.
Did you relay this information to Ms. Clark before you testified on July 6th and July 7th at the preliminary hearing?
I don't recall when exactly I related to her.
Can you think of any possible reason that you would not tell Ms. Clark on July 6th or 7th what you'd seen on the bottom of that Bronco door, if you'd seen it?
Overruled.
This was a minor thing in my
Been out
mind.
to a developing story.
I didn't. In my mind, I didn't place a lot of significance on it. It was a request that she made of me, and I performed the phenolphthalein test. And at a later time, I said, I've done it. And that's all I thought about it.
A minor thing.
Is that a question?
You thought it was a minor thing.
I didn't think it was needed a report written at the time that I did it.
Well, you didn't fill out a report about doing this until October,
That's correct.
but it is required at the SID laboratory, at your crime laboratory, that if you are to perform a presumptive test in a case, you're supposed to make a record of it.
That's in that proposed manual, but I don't know if it's actual policy or not.
Well, isn't that your general practice? That when you perform a presumptive test on an item of evidence in a case, you make a report about it.
Overruled.
In certain instances, yes.
You would make a report about it if it really happened. If you really went out there and saw those dark spots and did a presumptive test, right?
I'm going to sustain the court's own objection to that question. Rephrase the question.
Mr. Fung, would it not be your practice if you had in fact gone out, seen dark spots on the door sill of the Bronco on July 6th and done a presumptive test, would it have not been your practice to make a report about it?
Not necessarily, no.
Was it so minor an event that you not only didn't tell Ms. Clark about it, but you didn't feel it necessary to make out a report?
I told Ms. Clark about it at some point in time. I don't recall when, and eventually I did make a report.
And you're telling us, sir, that on July 5th, you thought that seeing a red stain on the exterior of that Bronco door was a minor thing, not worth mentioning.
I want to rephrase the question. You got the date.
You thought it was a minor thing, not worth mentioning to Ms. Clark.
I may not have had the opportunity to sit down and talk to her about it. I don't recall when I talked to her. I may have talked to her about it at that time. I don't recall when, though.
Well, you testified at that preliminary hearing on July 6th and 7th.
Yes, I did.
And that testimony was on national television.
Yes, it was.
And you were recounting the events of June 13th.
Overruled. Overruled.
And I was recounting the events of June
Yes.
13th.
Part of your preliminary hearing testimony under questioning from Ms. Clark was to recount the events of June 13th and your role in collecting evidence.
Yes,
Are you telling us, sir, that you did not have a discussion with Ms. Clark about your testimony before you testified?
I did have a discussion with Ms. Clark before I testified.
And in that discussion, did you give her any report about seeing dark spots on the exterior door sill of that Bronco?
Overruled.
During our that was the point in the conversation where she requested me to look specifically and do the test for phenolphthalein at the bottom of the door sill.
Oh, so you had a conversation with her on July 6th, and when the issue arose about these red stains, she then directed you to go to Vertel's and look at the door sill.
No, that's not what I said.
Well, please clarify.
There was a conference that we had prior to my pretrial conference or pretrial hearing testimony in which we discussed what I did. And at that time, she made that request for me to do a presumptive test at the driver door sill of the Bronco.
And when she made that request, did she suggest to you bring a photographer so that you can document the existence of these red stains before you do a test?
No, she did not say that.
Did it occur to you that that might be a good idea?
Not at the time, no.
When you finished this test and your observations on July 6th, I ask you again, sir, did you come back and report to Ms. Clark before you testified on your findings?
I don't recall if I told her before I testified or not.
At the preliminary hearing,
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm so sorry I
you
didn't
were
see
asked
that.
no questions,
you.
were you, about seeing any red stains at the bottom of that Bronco door?
Overruled. Do you
I-
recall?
Don't recall.
And you did not testify, sir, about seeing red stains on the bottom of that Bronco door.
Overruled.
I don't recall.
Mr. Fung, isn't it true that you never saw any red stains on the bottom of that Bronco door on July 6th?
No, I did see a stain that gave a positive for the presence of blood at the bottom of the door sill there.
Isn't it true, Mr. Fung, that you never removed anything from the bottom of that Bronco door on July 6th for purposes of performing a presumptive test?
I did perform a presumptive test on a dark stain at the door sill of the driver door.
And you removed some of that stain, some of that evidence for purposes of your test?
Yes,
Because you've told us that the stain is the evidence.
yes,
And you're sure of that.
yes.
You're as sure of that as the fact that when you took that envelope on June 13th, you didn't take it with your bare hands.
It's argumentative, counsel.
Mr. Fung, isn't it true that you went out on July 6th to look at the Bronco simply to refresh your memory for court?
I went there specifically to look at the driver door sill and perform a presumptive test on it.
Mr. Fung, you are aware that a Detective Mulder
Ozzy, they are almost 100% definitely a fake person.
from the LA Police Commission conducted an investigation with respect to break-ins of the Bronco at Vertel's.
Sustained.
Were you questioned by a Detective Muldorfer with respect to your visits to the Bronco?
Overruled.
No,
No. Were you questioned by anyone from the LA Police Commission with respect to visits to the Bronco?
no,
No recollection of that at all.
none.
You do not recollect telling Detective Muldorfer or anyone else about all the different times that you visited the Bronco at Vertel's?
I don't recall any personal interviews. There may have been a phone conversation, but I don't recall.
So you recall a phone conversation.
There may have been a phone conversation, but I don't recall any personal conversations.
Did you not, on August 8, 1994, have an interview with Detective Muldorfer with respect to your visits to the Bronco?
I don't recall.
Was it a Detective Carson?
I don't recall any personal interviews.
Did
With
you
them.
tell anyone on August 8th that you visited the vehicle on July 6th to refresh your memory for court?
I don't recall saying that.
Did you tell anyone on August 8th that you did not remove any evidence
Absolutely.
from the vehicle on July 6th?
Your Honor, that's not in the system.
Overruled.
Taking that swab and swabbing the dark spot.
Overruled.
Taking a swab for presumptive tests and collecting are two different things.
After you took the swab and rubbed the dark spot on July 6th, was any red stain left?
I don't recall if any was left or not. I don't think I used up the whole stain.
Well, if you didn't use up the whole stain, did it ever occur to you to suggest somebody should go back and take a picture of what was left?
No,
Never made that suggestion to anyone.
no,
Ms. Clark never told you to go back and take a picture of it.
no.
Didn't you tell someone on August 8th, with respect to this investigation of the Bronco, that you did not remove any evidence on July 6th, and you did not notice any papers in the vehicle at that time either?
I didn't look for papers in the vehicle.
Are you sure, sir, that you did not tell someone from the LA Police Commission that you visited the vehicle on July 6th to refresh your memory for court, and you didn't remove any evidence from it?
I don't recall the exact conversation. I don't even recall talking to somebody from the LA Commission, Police Commission.
One moment. Mr. Fung, before we leave this topic, Let me just show you some documents to see if they refresh your recollection.
Sustain.
Well, you've indicated that you don't recall speaking to anybody from the Los Angeles Police Commission with respect to your visits to the Bronco.
I don't remember any specific conversations, no.
All right?
Couple more questions.
I'm sorry?
Couple more questions.
All right. Would it refresh your recollection, sir, to examine some documents as to whether or not you had any conversations with someone from the Los Angeles Police Commission with respect to your visits to the Bronco?
Call the roll.
It may but I don't know what the source of the documents are.
All right. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Yes. Your Honor, I asked that.
Why don't you just show it to counsel?
Yes.
Approach the minutes so the court can see. Take a look at this
I'm
document.
aware of what these documents are, counsel. We had a whole proceeding on these documents.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Please.
Mr. Fung, please take your time, showing you a series of documents, and in particular, and to address your attention to paragraphs, the page that's marked here, 1187, and there's another short one here. I've tabbed them with yellow Post-its. Please take your time, look at all the documents for as long as you want.
Thank you, Donald. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Sir, having examined these documents, is your recollection refreshed about having a conversation with anyone on August 8th about your visit to the Bronco on July 6th?
Even from reviewing those notes, or that report, my memory is not refreshed.
So as far as the way you would like to leave it, sir, is that you never,
Phrase the question.
is it your testimony, sir, that to the best of your recollection, you were never interviewed by anyone from the Los Angeles Police Commission with respect to your visit to the Bronco on July 6th?
Sustain.
Were you interviewed by anyone from the Los Angeles Police Commission on August 8th, sometime in August, about your visit to the Bronco on July 6th?
I don't recall any personal interview. It may have been telephonic.
Well, do you recall a telephonic interview?
No, I don't.
And is your testimony, sir, with respect to red stains in the Bronco that you're given to this jury in any way motivated by a desire to cover for Detective Furman?
No.
Now, I'd like to turn to a new topic, Your Honor. I won't be able to finish it before the break, but might as well
Try.
start. I can't.
Try.
I'll do my best, but we're going till 12. Mr. Fung, you've told us that on the afternoon of June 13th at Rockingham, you received Mr. Simpson's blood vial from Detective Van Adder.
Yes.
You did not receive this blood vial for the first time on the morning of June 14th.
That's correct.
Now, did you discuss in your preparations for this case, the district attorneys, this issue as to when you received the blood vial?
Phrase the question.
Did you discuss with the district attorneys the circumstances of how you received the blood vial in this case?
Yes.
And was that an issue that you discussed at some length?
About 15 minutes.
Did you discuss the issue about how you received the blood vial with Michelle Kessler,
I don't believe so, no.
with Greg Matheson,
No.
with Detective Van Adder?
By issue, do you mean why it was done that way, or?
Did you discuss with Detective Van Adder before you came here to testify, preparation for your testimony, the circumstances surrounding your receipt of the blood vial from him?
No.
Oral.
Did you have any discussions with Detective Van Adder concerning how Mr. Simpson's blood vial was turned over for purposes of booking?
Could you repeat that question?
Could you tell us, you said did you have some discussions with Detective Van Adder about Mr. Simpson's blood vial?
Yes.
When?
The day I received them from him.
Since then, Any discussions?
Not to my recollection, no.
Any discussions with respect to the decision to bring the blood vial from downtown to you at Rockingham?
No.
Did you discuss the circumstances of receiving Mr. Simpson's blood vial with Detective Lang prior to coming in here and testifying?
I don't recall any discussion about that. No.
So other than the prosecutors, in preparation for your testimony, you have not had a withdrawn. Did you discuss the circumstances of the receipt of Mr. Simpson's blood vial with Andrea Mazzola?
I only stated to her that we did receive, or I did receive the blood vial from Detective Van Adder.
When did you have that discussion?
That was the morning of June 14th.
Now, who was present, according to you, at Rockingham when you received the blood vial from Detective Van Adder?
We were in the foyer, and I was there, of course. Detective Van Adder was there. And I know there were other detectives around, but I don't recall who they were exactly at that point in time.
So you're saying that was in the foyer of Mr. Simpson's home?
That's when I received the envelope containing the vial of blood.
That was inside.
Yes,
Was the door closed?
I don't recall.
Can you describe for us in as much detail as you can recollect exactly how this transfer occurred?
Don't
Detective Van Adder,
don't do it. Don't do it. Say you don't remember. It was too long ago. Don't do it.
said to me, or something to the effect of, I have Mr. Simpson's blood, and I want you to book it.
Now you made a gesture with your hand.
Yes,
And are you indicating, sir, that he then gave you something?
yes, that he gave me the envelope containing the vial.
And where was he? Was he holding it in his hand?
Yes,
Did you see, when did you first see Detective Van Adder before he gave you this envelope?
I don't recall exactly when he came. But I do recall that particular
And
event.
did he take it out of something or did he just have it in his hand?
I don't recall.
Did he pull it out of a black duffel bag and give it to you?
I don't recall him having a black duffel bag.
You didn't see him carrying a black duffel bag.
No,
Did he take it from a clipboard and give it to you?
I don't recall him having a clipboard either.
So, to the best of your recollection, Detective Van Adder handed you a gray envelope and he just had it in his hand.
To the best of my recollection, yes.
And then, after you received that gray envelope, what did you do with it?
I wrote on the envelope that I received it from him, and I put the time, date, and my initials.
And what did you do with the envelope at that point?
I looked inside to make sure that there was a vial in it and that it was in a condition that was unopened. And I put it in the crime scene truck.
Well, we're still in the foyer when you got it, correct?
Yes,
Did you open it, the envelope in the foyer?
yes,
And that's when you looked at it?
at the vial,
Yes.
yes.
And when you, did you then, what did you have with you at that time, if anything?
I had a pen.
And after you received the envelope from Detective Van Adder in the foyer, did you then walk out the door to the crime scene truck?
I don't know if I did that immediately or if I had other things that I had to do prior to that.
Did you put this envelope in a brown paper bag?
I don't recall if I did or not.
Did you put it inside your black kit?
No, I don't think I did that.
Did you, at some point, walk out of the foyer to the crime scene truck holding the gray envelope?
I don't believe so.
Well, what did you do with it? How did you get it to the crime scene truck?
It may have been in a paper bag, but I don't recall if I actually did put it in there, or it may have been put in a posse box.
It's possible you just walked out the door with the envelope in your hand?
It's possible, but I don't think that's likely.
All right, Mr. Scheck, we're going to take our break at this time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please remember all of my admonitions to you. Do not discuss this case amongst yourselves. Do not form any opinions about the case. Do not allow anybody to communicate with you. Do not conduct any deliberations till the matter has been submitted to you. We'll stand in recess until 1:30. Mr. Fung, you're ordered to return 1:30. All right, we'll stand in recess, and greetings to Judge Scott. Thank you.
Greetings to Judge Scott. We had a different judge in there today. Interesting. Interesting.
Mr. Scheck, you had a discovery issue you wanted to raise.
Yes, Your Honor. And I would request that the witness be asked to leave the room for a moment.
All right, Mr. Fung, would you wait outside for a few moments, please? Thank you, sir. Mr. Scheck.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, as I'm sure the court is well aware, one issue of great interest in this case are the activities in the at SID on the morning of June 14th. And discovery request was made for computer records that reflected who went in and out of the doors in various rooms at SID. And the prosecution, in particular, the evidence processing room on the morning of June 14th. The prosecution turned over to us a series of pages starting in the murder book at DA 04329 to DA 04334. Actually, these pages are backwards in terms of chronological order. That is to say that 04329 purports to be records of June 16th, and then they go from the 16th to the 15th,
Probably that's how it came out of the photocopy machine.
whatever it did, the 14th to the 13th. The problem is, however, with respect to on page 04333, we received records about June 14th. And those were the only records we received. The records of June 13th were then contained on 04334. So these are consecutively numbered pages. We noticed this morning in preparation for court that the first entry that we had on June 14th for someone entering the evidence processing room was 9:27 a.m. Actually, what I'd request is that perhaps these pages be marked as exhibits at this point in time.
All right. Defense next in order, which would be 1099.
My colleague, Mr. Neufeld, who is a bit under the weather, has been monitoring these proceedings from his hotel room and made a telephone call to Greg Matheson at SID during the course of the testimony of Mr. Fung and made an inquiry as to whether or not there was an additional page reflecting who went in and out of the evidence processing room on June 14th. And again, Mr. Neufeld was reviewing those records that I've just mentioned to the court. Mr. Neufeld informs me that Mr. Matheson confirmed that we were indeed missing a page with respect to earlier times, but indicated that he did give that page to the district attorney's office. Mr. Neufeld has read to me over the phone information that he received from Mr. Matheson with respect to the times.
On the 13th or the 14th?
I'm sorry, on the 14th.
Right.
The times of the 14th and the missing page. And those times contradict, I believe, the testimony of Mr. Fung. We have Mr. Fung in the evidence processing room at 7:45. Then we have him back entering the evidence processing room at 7:50. And we have other individuals in and out of that room starting at 6:03 a.m. My concern, Your Honor, is that we didn't get this page and the consecutive numbering of the documents. Obviously, would we request an explanation for the prosecutors if this court were to make a finding that this document was deliberately withheld. What we would ask is that we get an actual copy of this document to the court, that we confront Mr. Fung, but most importantly, that the jury be instructed that the document was intentionally withheld, if that in fact turns out to be the case. All that I can do is relay the information that I have. It's a matter of concern to me, but of course I await the explanations from.
All right, Mr. Goldberg.
Your Honor, I think counsel has unintentionally misstated the record. I don't believe the defense ever made a request for access in or out of the room. The way it came about is I asked for those records for the purposes of trying to determine certain time sequences, and voluntarily produced them to the defense without any request whatsoever. So I'd ask Mr. Scheck, if he can, to find the citation in the transcript where that was requested, because I'm simply unaware of it.
Oh, I don't dispute that the events may have
Well,
occurred that
Mr.
way.
Scheck, before we launch into that issue, the issue that I'm concerned about now, since I have a jury waiting, is where is this document? Can we make it available for Mr. Scheck to examine and for both sides to examine? And let's continue with the cross-examination and redirect of Mr. Fung. We can take up to the issue of where it was and why it didn't show up in your package at a more appropriate time. But I would like to get finished with Mr. Fung today.
You know, I just would like to say for the record that what I have in my notebook is identical to what counsel just described. And I personally Xeroxed it and have delivered it to them, which probably accounts for why it's in reverse chronological order. Xeroxing is not one of my strong points. But I would just like to say for the record that I just think it's unfortunate that every single legal issue that is raised is always couched in terms of some allegation of misconduct. And I just think it's a very sad way to litigate
Counsel,
this.
I'm not immediately leaping to that conclusion, so don't get your feathers ruffled up at this point. My concern is let's proceed with the cross-examination. Can we get this document? Can we get somebody to fax it to the court?
I want to be clear. I'm just stating the facts, and I would certainly concede that I do recall that we did have that conversation, more or less as Mr. Goldberg says it, in terms of we were interested in these documents, and he was too.
I can
and he
gauge from your
delivered
tone.
this.
Wait. I'm not interested in this issue.
That's fine with me, Your Honor.
Today, I don't care about it. Later this week, I'll care about it. Can we get Mr. Matheson to fax us the sheet?
You don't have it either, Mr. Cooper.
No, I don't. See what I have. If you want, please.
All right.
No, I believe it.
Who's got the phone number for Mr. Matheson?
I'm ready to proceed with that at the present time.
Do you want to proceed without it?
Well, I can proceed at this point without it, and I thought the court wanted to, get the documents and resolve the issue, and you wanted me to proceed.
No, if we agree that what comes from Mr. Matheson is a copy of the original document, if you feel you need it to cross-examine Mr. Fung further, we'll get it for you, and hopefully we can get it faxed to us in a matter of minutes.
Oh, okay.
Both sides will get a photocopy and we can proceed.
Ms. Martinez is calling Mr. Matheson.
All right,
See if you can have it.
great. Okay, let's proceed. All right, Deputy McNair, let's have the jurors, please, and can we have Mr. Fung, please?
He wants the prosecutors in jail. That's what he wants.
This stand undergoing cross-examination by Mr. Scheck. Good afternoon again, Mr. Fung.
Good afternoon.
You were reminded, sir, that you were still under oath, and Mr. Scheck, you may conclude your cross-examination.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Good afternoon, Mr. Fung.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Fung, when we left off, we were discussing what you told us about the transfer of the blood vial to you in the foyer of Mr. Simpson's home on the afternoon of June 13th.
Yes,
Now, do you recall what you were doing just prior to the transfer of this blood vial?
no, I do not.
Do you recall that an item number 15 was retrieved from a trash basket in the foyer?
Yes,
And an item number 16 was retrieved from a bench outside the front door of Mr. Simpson's home?
I have checked on the evidence of 1516, make a motion to start.
Not mentioning what it is, just that there were items in those locations.
All right, I'll allow it to stay.
Now, do you recall that?
yes,
All right. Now, did you receive the blood vial before items 15 and 16 were collected?
no, I received it afterwards.
And you just refreshed your recollection by looking at your notes,
Yes, I did.
and the notes reflect that those items were picked up at 5 o'clock.
Yes,
And since you're telling us that you received this blood vial at 5:20, you have concluded that this was after those two items were collected.
yes,
Now, but do you have, as you sit here today, an independent recollection of the order in which you received the items other than looking at your notes?
no,
Now, you mentioned to us that you thought that you put the envelope containing the blood vial in a paper bag or what you called a posse box.
It's testimony.
Sustained.
But what is a
Okay.
posse box?
Posse box is a note pad that's metallic. It has a cover on it that you can store. It's a box that's shaped like a notepad, except it can carry things.
Did you have one of those with you that day?
Don't recall if we did or not.
Were you carrying one to the best of your recollection that day when you left Mr. Simpson's front door to go back to your crime scene truck on the afternoon of June 13th?
I don't recall if I was or was not carrying a posse box.
All right. To the best of your recollection, how did you carry this gray envelope containing Mr. Simpson's blood vial when you withdrawn? I take it at some point in time you left the foyer area and returned to your crime scene truck,
Yes,
and you were carrying that gray envelope.
either by itself in a posse box or in a paper bag.
So it would be one of those three ways of carrying it, either out by itself in your hand, in a paper bag, or in a posse box.
Yes,
And when you, okay. Mr. Fung, was it your idea to have Detective Van Adder take Mr. Simpson's blood vial from the Parker Center to Rockingham to deliver it to you?
no, it was not.
Did Detective Van Adder call you up and ask you if you wanted to have Mr. Simpson's blood vial booked at SID and a DR number bought before he brought it to the scene?
No,
Would it not be normal practice upon receipt of a blood vial for a detective to buy a DR number and book it either at Parker Center or at SID so the blood vial could be refrigerated?
Sustained without further foundation.
Do you have knowledge of the usual practices by which blood vial samples are booked in the course of cases?
It's vague as to what criminalists are.
Sustained, first question.
Do you have knowledge of how blood vial samples are supposed to be booked or are withdrawn? Do you have knowledge of how blood vial samples are supposed to be booked by police officers?
I have a limited knowledge of that.
And that limited knowledge comes from the LAPD manual.
In part, yes.
And the practice is that upon receipt of a blood sample taken from a suspect, that the detective is to book it either at the property room or at the SID center.
There's still an inadequate foundation. Your Honor.
Overruled. You can answer the question.
The manual is used as a guide, and that's the guideline for officers, yes.
Has anybody discussed with you the phrase, the manual is to be regarded as a guide?
Overruled.
Yes,
Did Detective Lang have any conversations with you about the LAPD manual being considered a guide, but not a guideline, or just a guide to govern the conduct of officers?
I have heard him say that, and I've heard many other people say that also.
When did you hear Detective Lang talk about the rules in the LAPD manual being guides?
I don't recall when. It was sometime after this investigation started, though.
About how long into it?
I don't recall when. I do recall him as being one of the people who said that, though.
And do you recall how that subject came up? That the rules in the LAPD manuals were to be regarded as guidelines?
I don't recall the exact, what led up to that conversation.
Was it a discussion in which you were pointing out to Detective Lang that he hadn't followed the rules in the LAPD manual?
No.
Well, with respect to your knowledge of the LAPD manual, is it not the practice that a blood vial taken from a suspect is to be booked as soon as possible?
There's no foundation in this practice.
Could you please repeat the question?
From your knowledge of the LAPD manual, is it not the rule that a blood vial taken from a suspect,
Blood
Is-
sample.
blood sample taken from a suspect, is to be booked as soon as possible?
I don't know if that's exactly what it states.
Well, in terms of your understanding, does that comport with your understanding? Is that consistent with your understanding of what the rules require?
That's vague.
Overruled.
Also hearsay.
Overruled.
That's somewhat consistent with the exact wording or of what the manual wants.
And in terms of your understanding of the manual, the practice in this case should have been for Detective Van Adder to buy a DR number down at Parker Center
Yep.
and book Mr. Simpson's blood vial either at the Parker Center or at SID.
Calls for speculation.
Sustained.
When we talk about booking a blood vial from a suspect, do you mean that that vial in the analyzed evidence envelope is handed to somebody at the evidence control unit at SID?
According to the manual, I believe the definition of booking is the registering of property into departmental records, or the process of entering into departmental records, evidence or persons.
And your understanding of entering it in departmental records would mean in the case of a blood vial, such as the one at issue in this case, that it would be turned over to someone at the evidence control unit at SID. That would be one way of doing it.
Well, if we're going exactly to the letter of that definition, as soon as it's marked on some type of departmental record, that would begin the booking process.
When we used the term booking before, all right, withdrawn. Would not the booking of the blood vial be accomplished by taking it to the evidence control unit, handing it to the clerk, buying a DR number, and having the blood vial refrigerated?
In that order?
Yeah.
Couldn't do it in that order.
Buy a DR number and then give it to someone at the evidence control unit so it could be refrigerated.
That would be the final stage of booking.
Could Detective Van Adder, under the rules as you knew them, have done that on June 13th? Gone right over to SID after buying a DR number and give the clerk at the evidence control unit the blood vial?
Calls for speculation.
Sustained.
In terms of your understanding of the rules, would that have been consistent with the rules?
It's irrelevant.
Overruled.
Calls for speculation.
You can answer that question.
That would have been one way to have done that.
And isn't that the way, in your experience, it's ordinarily done by detectives?
Sustained.
You have been working as a criminalist for 8 years.
10 years.
10 years, my apologies. And you have been doing crime scenes for how long?
Almost 10 years.
And in your experience, is it not the ordinary practice that after detectives get a blood sample from a suspect, that they take it to the evidence control unit and book it there?
In my experience, I have never had a detective obtain a blood sample that quickly.
So it would be your testimony that in your experience, you've never known a detective not to obtain a detective withdraw. In your experience, what you know is that detectives ordinarily get blood vials from suspects and book it.
Sustained.
In your experience, have you ever before been in a situation where a detective obtained a blood vial from a suspect?
Sample.
de-
Sample. You keep saying blood vial.
Okay,
Sample.
thank you, Your Honor. Obtained a blood sample from a suspect, and instead of booking it downtown where it was taken, at SID or at Parker Center, drive it all the way back to a crime scene. Has that ever happened in your experience?
Oh, well.
I can't remember one instance where that's happened.
Thank you.
Have we about exhausted this line of inquiry?
To your knowledge, there is a place in Parker Center where this blood vial could have been booked and refrigerated if a DR number had been obtained. You know that.
Blood samples can be booked down at Parker Center.
So you examined, you've told us, this blood vial.
I looked at it, yes.
And in looking at it, you determined that it had been drawn, at least by the markings on it, at 2:30 in the afternoon.
I looked at the vial to see if it was intact, and I did look at the envelope, but I don't remember all the writing on the envelope.
So you can't tell us whether or not this was actually drawn at 2:30 in the afternoon.
I don't remember. I'd have to refer to the envelope itself.
But as far as you knew, before Detective Van Adder brought it to you, he'd been carrying it around for some hours.
I didn't stop to think how long he'd been carrying it.
Did you inquire of him how long he had been carrying around this blood sample?
No, I did not.
Did you consider that part of your responsibility in terms of maintaining chain of custody?
No, because that would be his part of the chain of custody.
You don't consider it your responsibility as the criminalist that's gathering and booking evidence to determine where objects have been before you get them?
It's my responsibility to record when or where I get things from and when I dispose of them, or not dispose, but remand them into the custody of somebody else.
Well, you were concerned enough on June 13th that you actually opened the envelope up and looked at the blood vial when Detective Van Adder gave it to you?
Yes.
Before withdrawing, Detective Van Adder have any way of contacting you from downtown on the afternoon of June 13th?
Yes.
Beeper? You wear a beeper?
Yes, I do.
Carry a cell phone?
Yes, I do.
You could have been beeped then and called on a cell phone and asked by Detective Van Adder if you wanted to have this blood vial taken from Parker Center all the way across town to Rockingham.
Overruled.
I don't give anybody my cellular phone number. He could have called DHD or the office and had me paged, though.
Could you explain that? He could have called where?
Counsel, you said he's got a pager,
Oh, I'm sorry. You had a pager, so
and he was available by
you
pager.
were available, could have been called by a pager.
Yes.
During the course of the day, had you been contacted by Detective Lang or Detective Van Adder through that pager?
No.
Were you contacted by Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
You recall being contacted by Mr. Matheson around 12 in the afternoon while you were at Bundy.
I don't remember being called by Mr. Matheson at that time.
Do you recall sometime around midday that Mr. Matheson called you while you were out at Bundy and asked if you needed any help at the crime scene?
I don't recall that.
Didn't happen?
I just don't recall if that happened.
Now, so it's your testimony, sir, that you were never contacted by Detective Van Adder before he brought the blood vial crosstown to you.
Yes.
Now, on the morning of the 14th, you received some tennis shoes from Detective Lang.
Yes.
Now, you told us just before we broke that you recalled this occurring around, what, 7:30, 7:40?
Between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, around that time, maybe a little later,
And this occurred, you say, in the serology lab?
to the best of my recollection.
Could it have been in the evidence processing room?
I don't remember it being, I don't remember Detective Lang being in the evidence processing room.
Well, you told us that when you saw Detective Lang, he had the sneakers with him, that he was in the serology lab.
Yes.
And the swatches that you'd retrieved from Bundy were in the evidence processing room.
Yes.
They were in a cabinet.
Yes.
It was unlocked.
The cabinet? Yes.
Now, there's a computer printout that shows who enters and leaves the evidence processing room during a particular day.
It records when somebody uses their keyless badge to open the door.
And the way this keyless badge works is that there's a little rubber kind of thing that you put your badge across. Is that right?
There's a sensor in the wall and it somehow detects the card, and if your card has the proper access code, then it'll let you in.
Now, if you were walking through the door of the evidence processing room, and let's say I was standing next to you, and you used that sensor, your badge, right?
Yes.
The door would open,
Yes.
you would walk in, and I would walk in.
Yes.
But there would be no record that I entered.
That's correct.
The only record would be that you entered.
Yes.
And you indicated before that you reviewed some records with Mr. Goldberg of what they call card transaction reports indicating who went in and out of the evidence processing room on the morning of June 14th.
Yes,
Now, isn't it true, sir, that you entered the evidence processing room at 7:45 on the morning of June 14th?
It's unclear whether he's asking from his personal recollection from the document.
Overruled.
I would have to refer to the document.
Your Honor, I'd ask that this document be marked defendant's next in order.
1100. What happened to 99? We used 1099? Got it. 1100. 1100.
1100. May I approach?
You may.
Mr. Fung, I show you what's been marked as defendant's 1100 and ask you to examine it.
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this and perhaps we can approach.
All right, with the court reporter, please.
I wonder if, when it's the defense's turn, they're going to recall every single one of these detectives.
Certainly.
Now, what do you recognize that document to be, sir?
Except for Mr. Goldberg, you need to not stand between the witness and the jurors.
I've never actually seen one of these documents before, but it looks like one of the, well, I have seen the document before. I take that back. It's a card access document.
And does this appear to be a card access document for the morning of June 14th?
Yes,
And does it indicate, sir, that you were in the evidence processing room at 7:45?
it indicates I used my card for entry. Yes,
And does it indicate that you then used your card for entry again at 7:50?
Oh my gosh. You mean the criminalist went into the evidence room? Get out of here. No way.
yes,
Does it indicate that Mr. Matheson was in the evidence processing room at 7:44?
yes, it does.
Now, having looked at this document, is your recollection refreshed that when you entered the evidence processing room at around 7:45, the morning of June 14th, that's where you saw Detective Lang with the sneakers?
I don't recall the sneakers and him being there. That's just my recollection.
But as I understand your previous testimony, you recall seeing Detective Lang between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, sometime around then.
Yes,
That's when the meeting occurred with you, Detective Lang, and Mr. Matheson, to the best of your recollection.
to the best of my recollection.
And looking at these records, can you now tell us, sir, if that meeting could have happened in the evidence processing room?
Your Honor, it calls for speculation because this record doesn't have anything to do with that.
Overruled.
A portion of the meeting may have occurred there. However, I specifically remember the sneakers being in the serology lab, along with Mr. Matheson and criminalist Yamuchi and myself.
Is there any reason, Mr. Fung, that you don't want to remember Detective Lang being in the evidence processing room with the sneakers when you walked in there?
Sustained.
When you saw Detective Lang on the morning of June 14th with the sneakers, you realized that he had taken them home?
I don't know if he had taken them home or not.
Did he tell you that he had recovered these sneakers from Mr. Simpson's residence on the afternoon of June 13th?
Sustain.
Mr. Fung, you were responsible for itemizing in your reports when and where those sneakers were recovered.
That's not exactly true, no.
No?
In my report, I am responsible for stating how they came into my custody.
And are you required to determine from the person who's giving it to you where and when the items of evidence were recovered?
It's my practice when I receive evidence from other or from police officers or detectives that I specify that they keep good notes as to where and when they got or recovered the evidence, and I am only going to put down in my property report that I received it or that I received the evidence from them.
Did Detective Lang show you any notes about where and when he had recovered the sneakers?
No,
Did he indicate to you in any way that he had recovered these sneakers on the afternoon of June 13th?
Sustain.
Let me ask you to assume for a second, Mr. Fung, that Detective Lang had recovered the sneakers on the afternoon of June 13th, brought them home, and then brought them back to SID and turned them over to you. Are you with me on this hypothetical so far?
yes,
Would that not be a violation of LAPD Rule 510.10?
what is,
Sustain.
Do you know of a rule in the Los Angeles Police Department manual that indicates that evidence and non-evidence shall not be stored in the personal possession of any employee except for certain forgery-related evidence?
Sustain.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Show him the document.
Certainly.
Mr. Fung, show you a document. Do you recognize it?
it appears to be a page out of the Los Angeles Police Department manual.
All right, and I'm going to direct your attention.
It's not an expert in it.
Overruled.
Are you familiar with
Let me see counsel at the sidebar. Without the report.
What do you mean overruled? What the heck? That was a good objection. He is not a subject expert in this.
proceed with increased alacrity.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Fung, you recognize this document as being the Los Angeles Police Department Manual Rules concerning booking, custody, and disposition of property. What page from those rules?
It has the same format as the LAPD manual, yes.
Yes. And the LAPD manual rules on the booking, custody, and disposition of property are rules you are familiar with because that's part of your job as a criminalist.
I haven't read this per se, but I do follow the custom that I have been taught in the laboratory.
And is one of the, direct your attention to a paragraph here and ask you to read it to yourself.
Okay.
All right. Does that refresh your recollection that there, we'll call it a rule or a guideline, whichever you like, that evidence shall not be stored in the personal possession of any employee except for forgery-related material?
No authentication, hearsay.
Sustained.
Have you ever been told that evidence or non-evidence is not to be stored in the personal possession of a police officer?
Also hearsay.
Sustained.
Were you ever given instruction by anyone at SID that detectives are not supposed to store items of evidence in their personal possession?
So also hearsay and irrelevant.
Sustained. Mr. Scheck, why don't you phrase the question in the same manner that the witness has answered the question? His understanding is from custom that he's been taught in the laboratory. Ask him if it comports with that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That would be an appropriate question.
In terms of the custom that you've been taught in the laboratory, has it been brought to your attention that evidence or non-evidence shall not be stored in the personal possession of any employee?
That subject has never been addressed to me.
So as far as you knew from the custom and practice in the laboratory, it would be perfectly all right for a detective to take evidence, bring it home, and then deliver it to you the next day.
No foundation.
Sustained.
Was when Detective Lang gave you the sneakers, did you suspect that there might have been anything wrong in the way that he was delivering them to you for purposes of booking?
No,
Did you mention to Detective Lang that you had some questions about how he came to be in possession of those sneakers that morning?
no,
You mentioned it to Mr. Matheson?
Overruled.
I didn't mention it to him, no.
Do you believe, Mr. Fung, in accordance with the custom and practice of your laboratory, that detectives have 24 hours to book blood?
No foundation, Your Honor.
Overruled.
I have read that in the manual.
In the manual?
You showed it to me this morning, didn't you? Something like that? No?
What manual?
The LAPD manual.
You think in the LAPD manual, there's a provision that says detectives have 24 hours to book blood?
I may be mistaken. There was something to that effect of booking as soon as possible or 24 hours or something like that.
Well, is booking as soon as possible the same as 24 hours as far as you're concerned?
Sustained.
Did Detective Lang ever tell you that detectives have 24 hours to book blood?
Also hearsay and irrelevant.
Overruled.
No,
Detective Van Adder?
no,
If you received blood on the morning of June 14th at SID for the first time, in your judgment, would that have been improper?
No foundation.
Sustained.
As far as you understood the guidelines of the Los Angeles Police Department, would it have been improper for either Detective Lang or Van Adder to have gotten the blood from Mr. Simpson on June 13th, kept it in their possession, and then delivered it to you in the morning on June 14th?
Also speculation
Sustained.
Your Honor, I'm trying to.
I understand what you're trying to do, but the foundation is not there.
All right. Let me ask you a hypothetical question. Let us assume that you received the blood that had been drawn from Mr. Simpson on June 13th on the morning of June 14th. You with me?
Yes,
If that had occurred, in your judgment, would that have been improper on the part of the detectives?
Sustained. Certainly. Problem here's foundation, counsel.
In terms of the custom and practice of your laboratory and its workings with detectives, would it have been improper if either of these detectives had kept the blood drawn from Mr. Simpson on June 13th overnight in their personal possession and then delivered it to you the next morning on June 14th?
Overruled.
that would depend on how the blood was stored in their, while it was in their custody.
You mean if they put it
Me
in their
too. Oh,
refrigerator at
wait,
home,
hold on.
then in terms of your understanding and custom of practice, that would have been okay?
Overruled.
According to how I understand it, yes. I wouldn't recommend it.
Well,
Putting
why
in their
wouldn't you
own-
recommend it?
Putting blood in your own refrigerator, just wouldn't recommend it.
Well, isn't one reason that you wouldn't recommend it, Mr. Fung, is that in terms of chain of custody, it would be highly improper for a detective to keep a blood vial overnight?
Sustained.
Mr. Fung, are you fearful of these detectives, Van Atter and Lang?
I'm not fearful of them, no.
Are you aware who Michelle Kessler is the head of the laboratory?
Yes, she is.
Are you aware that her husband works as a detective in robbery homicide with detectives Lang and Van Atter?
Overruled.
Yes, I am.
Are you fearful, sir, that in a dispute between yourself and either Detective Lang or Van Atter, that you could not count on the support of Michelle Kessler?
No.
Did you receive Mr. Simpson's blood vial on June 14th?
Set that the killer of Ron and Nicole was never found?
Right now, I'm not going to discuss any of that. All right? Yeah, I think that's a pretty obvious question.
Don't think that they're still out there?
I'm not going there.
Are you upset that the killer of Ron and Nicole?
After you received the sneakers from Detective Lang.
I received the blood vial from Mr. Simpson, of Mr. Simpson, on June 13th at the Rockingham address.
So your testimony is you did not receive the sneakers first on the morning of June 14th and then the blood vial.
That's correct.
Do you remember being asked on direct examination which item you received first, the sneakers, or the blood vial?
I don't specifically recall that question, no.
Do you remember making a slip on direct examination when you answered that question?
No, I don't.
Your Honor, I'd like to show a piece of video. It's,
I'd like to see it first.
yes,
Does it have audio?
yes, it does.
All right, let's ask the jurors to step back in the jury room, please.
Get out of here, jury. Go away.
All right, sorry.
95. Judge wants to watch Porky's.
All right, let the record reflect the jurors have withdrawn from the courtroom.
Your Honor, how many times does the court have to admonish counsel to show us these things ahead of time? You know, and the grandstanding nature of these ploys has been made very apparent. This is the third
Okay,
time
move
the
on.
jury distrusted
Move
us,
on.
You know, without telling us ahead of time. The court has repeatedly admonished counsel to show us ahead of time and let us know.
Yes,
Your Honor,
that was
this-
Repeatedly
Chester.
violated it, and once again, in front of the jury.
Well, the problem we have, though, is this is impeachment material. Let me see the tape.
Well, this tape is his testimony.
It's impeachment
I understand.
material.
Yes, no, I'll
Do you
show
want to
this.
argue about this with me
No,
now?
no. I'll show the tape.
Show me the tape.
Show me the Carfax.
With the, if the blood had remained item number 18, I would have had to create 3 additional property report face sheets.
Okay, now, with the pair of sneakers on the previous document that we saw was labeled item 17, is that correct?
Yes,
Which did you receive, and the blood 18?
yes.
Which did you receive first, the blood or the pair of sneakers?
I received the blood vial first.
All right. And
That's
uh,
That's ridiculous. And I'm sorry, but the fact that it's impeachment.
Ms. Clark, are you handling this witness?
No, Your Honor, I'm just helping Mr. Goldberg, but I'm not addressing an issue with the witness. I'm addressing an issue with counsel's.
Well, then we'll take that up later.
behavior in court.
Counsel, we'll take that up later. Mr. Goldberg, any comment?
I don't feel this is proper impeachment because it's not inconsistent. And also, reasons.
No,
we
he
don't want to
never
object
did.
to it.
And that's even counsel's conduct, Your Honor, and that's what I'm talking
Ms.
about.
Clark, didn't I just say we'll address this later? That means end of argument. I don't want to hear anymore. I'm tired of this. All right, 4 o'clock. We'll take it up.
Is there going to be any more videotapes?
Yes.
Will be acquired?
Yes, I have some more videotape that just came, and if she wants to see it,
So let's
up
see it
to the
now.
court. Could the witness leave the room?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, he smiled and talked to the bailiff on the way out. See that? He's not a robot.
One tape I'm going to show the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, I
is a
think I know what that
videotape
tape
of
is.
he and Miss.
Oh, never mind. That's the one that Josh found for us that I showed you of him just taking the bags and the kit and putting it into the back of the van.
Mazzola, but I believe depicts them leaving the Rockingham location on the afternoon of June 13th. There's an audio portion to this that I'd like to have played as well.
It's also Lang, I think, throwing the shoes into his car in the front seat.
What I hear on that tape is Mr. Fung saying to the witness, "Let's go back for one last check." Then we have another tape.
Let me hear that again. And Ms. Fitzpatrick, can you crank it up?
He's just making words up. Maybe he said that, but there's no way to know from that. None. I didn't hear it. I heard something. I might have heard the word check.
Represent to you that this is another version of the tape, but we're fast forwarding to another section. When Mr. Shapiro was cross-examining Detective Van Adder, I was back in my hotel room and I happened to see this tape. Okay. We propose to play the portion of the tape that.
Take your phone would automatically take it to Biker Check for.
Not the audio.
How do you know that?
This is another shot, Mr. Fung and Ms. Mazzola leaving on the afternoon of June 13th. Okay. We propose to show them those 2 seconds.
Mr. Goldberg?
I don't know the relevance of this council would have to make an offer of proof. But furthermore, there's no showing here as to why this wasn't provided in discovery. We have another discovery violation. Mr. Sheck made some kind of a strange comment about having viewed it or seen it in his hotel room at some point. I don't know how that gets around the discovery obligations of the defense.
It's impeachment. I was going to ask these questions. I was going to show them this tape, Your Honor, until I heard.
Idiot. Idiot. He doesn't need to give you discovery for impeachment tapes, dumbass.
Heard what Mr. Fung had to say about how he carried this blood vial out there until he was nailed down. Now I'm going to show him the tapes.
All right, refresh my recollection. What specifically did he say? He said it was handed to him in a gray envelope and that he didn't recollect specifically how it was he carried it out.
He's had three possible ways that he could have carried it out: in a paper bag, in his posse box, or in his hand.
And he said he doesn't remember.
Okay. I saw him carrying a catalog case and a handful of paper bags.
Your Honor, before I'd like to make the rest of this offer of proof ex parte to you. I don't want to tell them. I think I'm entitled to that.
Well, counsel, you've just shown us, you've shown me a piece of videotape. You have to tell me why it's relevant.
Just don't
Well,
let
why
it
it's
in,
relevant
Judge.
is that I believe
No.
that if I show these pieces of videotape to Mr. Fung and take him through refreshing his recollection, looking at that, and take him through the events, that in combination with the testimony of Ms. Mazzola that the court has previously heard that's on the record, I think we can establish that what he's told us about carrying out that blood vial and how he carried it is not true.
And how do we do that from those two pieces of videotape?
All right, if Josh found the video online, that means it was entered as evidence in this trial, doesn't it? So I think he's going to win this one. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Your Honor, I would again
Speculating.
request that you permit me to tell you ex parte, make a record of it, and I will connect this up for you and show the plain relevance of it. I do not want to disclose that in front of these prosecutors who are going to talk to this witness or subsequent witnesses.
The witness, well, obviously, once you do it now, the cat will be out of the bag, so to speak. Mr. Fung is outside of the courtroom. He's not
No,
hearing this information.
there's more to it. There are other witnesses, and there are other events, and there's other reasons why these tapes are clearly impeaching, and I don't want to say it in front of them. I think I'm entitled to make this offer to you ex parte.
What's your authority for that?
Well, I think it's impeachment material. And I don't think I should be required under the discovery rules to reveal the impeachment material before I'm impeaching the witness. There are.
No, but I have to make a ruling as to relevance and whether or not it's going to come in. Whether or not it's collateral, whether or not there's a 352 problem. What's your authority that you're entitled to an ex parte share?
My
Okay, we're going to have to
I'm in-
figure out the end of this cliffhanger tomorrow. I think he lets it in because we saw it on TV, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out in a couple hours, guys. Just stay tuned. Thank you so much for coming out today. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great, great, great day. And I will see you again very soon. Bye, guys.